What's up? You know who this be? You know, I'm Sharif Atibi, and I've been in electronically tortured for 16, 17 years. And what amazes me is that, where our country is in devastation. It's cracking. Um, but I wanted to ask you a question. After 16 years of seeing this bullshit, it amazes me when we all got down to it. Everybody made everything. I'm a human being. I walk around, I try to treat other people as human beings. But it amazes me that how these individuals can use racist term nigga, fat, all this different stuff. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Are you saying if I was white, skinny, a male or female, male or female, male or female, what? Let me ask you, do you think I would, if I was a Caucasian person at this, would this have happened to me? What do you really think happened in this situation? It amazes me that no one has ever come into my door and asked, well, Sherry Fatu, what happened? Why are you sitting up there every day? And they'll talk about you, yeah, people gossip. But have you ever noticed that nobody came into my door and asked me anything? People listen to stuff, be right ready to kill me, hit my car, hit me, but never ask the real question. And my question is that it seems like the people are really ready and willing to hear a lie and hear the truth. I don't owe these people nothing about my sexual life. These people want to sexually abuse me with equipment they started way before I was alive. So my question to you is that with all the stress, so-called distractions, and what do you all get from this? What is everybody getting from this? Because this costs people money to do all this. And are you thinking they're just getting that money for free? It just fall out of LabCorp's pocket? Do you think that LabCorp is to blame, or you think I'm to blame? Do you think LabCorp? You think from what's happened to me, LabCorp should pay me a tenfold recompense? I would love to know. Do you think the LabCorp is innocent in this whole situation? I would love to know, because it amazes me that everybody I see got lips flapping, but they ain't never asked for the truth. You ain't never asked me for the truth. Ain't nobody gonna sit at no laboratory full of blood, be on their knees doing all this. Now you have to ask you. I'm like, okay, well, what is your obsession with this situation? I mean, I'm not trying to. I mean, if the roles were reversed, okay, if the roles were reversed, do you think if this would go on if I was a white male? If the roles were reversed, do you think that this would happen to me if I was a white female? I was just asking as I go from day to day, So Lord, I go from day to day, and I wonder how people live with it. You people have killed me, my soul, my body. I was looking at it as a little family who moved. I remember when their children were small. Now they're adults, ready to graduate from high school. And I asked myself, who should have a right to take your life like that? Sometimes you get to the point where your mind is so bad you forget your own name. Ask yourself, for what is this for? If America is on the cusp of breaking down, why in the hell is electronic torture still going on? Do you really need that much distraction? Because I said all this different stuff, and then I was asking people, I think ATI is going to be the worst situation in the world, the worst development in the world. Because it's going to make people who are innocent seem guilty. All because facial expressions and how you can, they can, like, the new app they got his face over. I would like to see it, but at the same time as you selling your facial expressions to people who will exploit them and not in a will exploit them, exploit you in a non-positive way. I think that at this point in time, is the internet is too dangerous to have AI technology. Some stuff is useful, I can say that, but some stuff can get you arrested and put you in prison. And it's like, what the fuck? You'd be like, what in the world is this? I never I never partake in any of that shit. I never was. Let me tell you the truth. At laboratory, when I worked at LabCorp is two things you guarantee. Guarantee is a patriarchy. It seems like that. From what as you go farther up, it's all male. And I even asked another one. She said, "Honey, if you ain't white," he said, "if you ain't white in the male, you ain't right." I remember they wanted to hire all the males were white. Still, Michael Thomas was mulatto. You only hired him because he looked like a white man. He just so. And then the other one, the black guy, he was light gray, half white, but really well, because he knew everything. I mean, he knew more than his own supervisor. So they kept his black behind on. I remember he used to make jokes about them. I said, because you said, I remember even white people say, you said, not jokes about them, they said the truth. People always say it's the truth and try to make it to the pond. They said, boy, I'll tell you, she said, boy, if I tell you the truth, I said, if you close your eyes and hear Mike, you hear a white man. I mean, so you close your eyes and you hear, the black guy, you hear the white man in his voice, you let him pass. You don't have to open your eyes. Michael Thomas, you just open your eyes. And he a white man, he white enough for their consideration. So he can give him a pass. The only supervisor there that was that was female. She was white female, and it was Penny. She worked on the majority of the weekend Baylor shifts, and she said I should try to run a tight ship and try to make sure that her basically everybody's doing something right on her ship, because nobody. I mean, she's the only woman in the whole department, and there was like 7 departments. She was the only woman. The other woman who was black that was there, they chased her away. Because everybody loved her because they said she was fair. She was fair, she was knowledgeable, and chased her away. Because they wanted, the only people who were allowed to rule in LabCorp situation was if you if you a male and you white, or if you're a white male, then that's all they were hiring. If you so-called get the job by somebody referred you, or you just got the job through promotion, they ran you out of that job within 2 years. So that's how the foundation of LabCorp, that's how racist they are. Let me tell you something. LabCorp LabCorp was one of the worst places to work. They were never clean, expired products. Always, everybody was blaming one issue or another on somebody else, another technician. But you have to realize they were poorly trained. Everybody was poorly trained because the technology they were using or the machinery they were using was outdated. I addressed that them within a year. I said, well, how can we do our jobs effectively if our project was outdated back in the late 1900s or early 2000. In 2001, that product that we had at that point in time was outdated. I think what happens is that when you're black, and what I was so sad is that when I left, and I say Minnesota was any better. And I left North Carolina and went to live in Minnesota for a couple of years. And then, I realized, but I came back to North Carolina, I realized that North Carolina has no structure, but nobody knows how to do anything effectively. And no, the proper training doesn't take place here. Nothing. And they're always ready to blame it on the black. I noticed that in America. I mean, especially at LabCorp, where I work, they were always ready to blame it on the black people. They fire them, and black people go to the employment agency, and then they'll hire them back. That was wrong. But I digress. I'm going to ask you a bold question. If I was a white male, would this be happening to me? If I was a white female, would this be happening to me? That's all.